Galen Wood, Move In Home Fitness. We're talking today about functional training. Now, functional training is all the rage. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody wants to do it. Your grandmother, your kids, everybody likes functional training. Now, the thing is that with functional training, you have to understand that there's a plus and a minus to it, right? There's pros and there's cons. So the great part about functional training is it prepares you for real life. We're not just sitting isolated trying to work specific muscles. We're ideally working our total body. Now, a machine like the Hoist Mi6 is a great functional trainer. And the benefit of it is that we get a lot of different movement patterns, and we get things where we can incorporate our entire body into the movement. Now, doing that engages my core, it engages my hips. It teaches me to be a lot more stable than something where I'm seated, where the movement's more isolated, where I don't have the same amount of movement or leeway, if you will. Now, the downside of this, though, is that because I have more freedom, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So with more freedom, I have the ability, a better ability, to hurt myself. And so I have to be a little bit more conscious of having proper form, proper technique, proper posture. If I have all of those things in place, then I'm good to go. And I'm going to have a much better workout. I'm going to create a better body for my real life. I'm going to be better at picking up my kids, grabbing groceries, opening doors, hiking up mountains, scuba diving, all of those kind of things. But I have to make sure that I'm doing these kinds of things properly. And now, at the same time, I don't want to discount traditional training. Traditional training is great, and ideally, you want to make sure that you're doing all different kinds of training. Consistency, variety, and progression are the name of the game. Anything that you can do that's different is going to help you to have a better body. Galen Wood, Move In Home Fitness. Today we're talking about chest exercises. Again, we're using the Hoist Mi6 machine, functional trainer. And we brought in a bench for the first exercise that we're going to be demonstrating. But there's a couple things that I want you to remember when we're doing chest exercises. A chest exercise is any time where you press, right? So anytime you do a press exercise, and really it's more anytime you press, you're working your chest. So anytime you press, you use your chest muscle, the front of your shoulder, and the back of your arm. And so all the exercises that you do, a push-up, a dumbbell press, a chest press, an incline press, all of those different kinds of things are all permutations on the concept that you're pressing weight forward, right? So when we get into these exercises, I'm going to start out with something a little bit more basic. We use the bench because it's a little bit easier when you're first starting out to focus on making sure your shoulders are stable and that you're doing the exercise correctly before we start moving into the more functional standing exercises, things like that. So the first thing we're going to do, go ahead and lean back. You're going to grab you'll grab the handles in your hands. Now, the key with this, go ahead and reach back and grab that. The key with this is that I set the machine up so that I line the cables up right about midline with the chest. Okay? So when that's lined up, we're going to make sure that we're not coming too high or too low. She should be coming straight out from the chest, all one flat plane. Come all the way back, bring your elbows right about there, and then press forward. Her head's back, core is engaged, neck is relaxed. Now this is a big one for most of us. We all get so tense in our neck, our shoulders start to shrug up when we're coming. And so we relax the shoulders down, making sure we're pressing from the chest. So we've mastered the flat chest press, and that's really just a bench press. The same thing as doing a dumbbell press lying on your back. When we were doing the seated press, we're seated, we're pressing forward, that works the muscles, works kind of the middle fibers of the chest. Now the fun part about this is that we can change the angle of the bench, and then we change the angle that the chest is pressing. So either whether we're down, whether we're up, when we're up, we have an incline press. So now, press up here, we're doing an incline press. So the hands come directly above the shoulders. Again, core is engaged, neck is relaxed, head's all the way back. We bend our elbows. Now on this one, we're just coming down to the shoulders. Just to there, and then you press up. But because the angle is different, I'm going to work more the upper fibers of the chest. So now let's talk functionality. So we took the bench away. Remember, the angles all stay the same. So the effect on the chest is ideally the same. But the fun part is we take the bench away, we now start doing some more functional kind of training. And really all that means is we start incorporating the hips, the core, in a much more aggressive manner, if you will. So go ahead and grab the handles. So remember the angle that we talked about. So she's going to take one step forward so that when she presses forward, she can get full range of motion, and when she comes back, she can get full range of motion. So press all the way forward. Yep. There you go. Now she's pressing from her chest. This is the same exercise we did seated, we're just standing up. Core is engaged, so almost like you're trying to do, if you've ever done a plank where you're pulling the belly button in, you're engaging the core, you engage the hips, body stays perfectly still, bring your arms back, press forward. Now the thing with this is that it gets harder the more body parts you have to think about. And so you really want to make sure that you can keep the shoulders down, you can keep the core engaged, you can keep the body still, and do the movement. If you can't keep your body still, if you can't keep your neck relaxed, if you can't keep your core engaged, do it on the bench. Once you get this movement down, everything else is all just permutations. So if I have her lean forward, and I drop the handles down just a little bit, and then she presses up a little bit more, there you go, then she's going to work more the upper fibers of her chest. Right? Same thing is true if I have her lean back just a smidge, engage your stomach. I bring these up, and she presses down. Now she's working more the lower fibers of the chest. All great exercises, they just work the muscles differently.